Hello, welcome to I don't know how to do my YouTube intros anymore. Hello, I am finally back on YouTube. It has been so long since I filmed a video and I want to get back into it. There's so much that I have to cover. Let's start. Mindful, too many things to say. Let's start with the title of this video. So I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. Now, if any of you have been following this channel for a while, I would be surprised if you are here because I have been so inactive, but you'll be thinking, Deirdre, I didn't know you read books. And I do. We're gonna get to my setup in a second. I joined Book Talk a year ago, thanks to Miss Rona, and I have been wanting to bring my book content to YouTube for months, but I just haven't taken the leap, and I'm finally deciding that I want to because I miss creating long form content and talking for longer than 60 seconds. So here we are, and I figured what better way to come back to YouTube and introduce myself to Booktube than to do the Booktube Newbie Tag. A couple of things right off the bat. My setup right now is a little crazy because I'm getting ready to move. And I think this is the first time I'm announcing it on any social media. I don't know if by the time this video comes out, if I'll have announced it anywhere. But I am in a state of midway through packing up my entire room to move to my first apartment in New York City. So this is a very temporary setup. We've got my sad little TBR behind me. These are the books that I'm kind of like leaving out of packing, even though I'm not going to get to all of them. I just don't want to put them away. So yeah, that's the thing with the setup. Also, I'm really sorry if I keep touching my hair. We are headed into summer in the tri-state area, so it is very humid and it's super frizzy and my bangs just don't want to cooperate. So I'm trying to not touch my hair, even though it's not quite cooperating how I would like it to, but that's fine. It's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about books. If you are new here, I have had this YouTube channel since 2014. Oh, it's kind of crazy. And it's just been a place for me to be creative how I want to be. I love makeup and fashion and a lot of other things, and I've kind of used this channel to make videos about that. But over the last few years, I really have not been super consistent, and especially over the last 2 years, maybe 4, I don't know. When was the last time I was consistent with my YouTube channel, honestly? And I just want to start creating more long form content and introducing books into that. I definitely will not be stopping beauty content creation by any means. I definitely want to keep that here, which I'll get into a little bit in the tag in one of the questions. But you can expect kind of a little bit of everything, definitely gearing more towards books though. So that's kind of a little bit of an introduction before we get into this tag. Where is the camera? Because I'm filming on my phone and I need to look into the camera. Okay, are we ready? Let's do it. So the first question is, why did I start this channel? And as I just said, this channel's been around for a while. This is a revamp, and I'm just bringing a new side of myself to the internet. I have been on Book Talk for a year. I really do love it over there. I love my channel on there a lot, or my page. I don't even know what we call TikTok. And I've slowly been making my way into Bookstagram, like very slowly. And I love TikTok. It's been a really amazing creative outlet for me. It reintroduced me to reading, but I do miss long form content creation and being able to talk about books in a more nuanced way and just talk for a longer length of time about the books that I'm enjoying. And I can do that with Booktube. So that is mainly why I am revamping my channel like this. Question number 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Honestly, this is the thing that has kept me from making my BookTube channel for so long, because I am worried that I won't be able to create unique content. I definitely want to incorporate my love of beauty and fashion into books, like lots of get ready with me's and things like that. I just love chatty videos, but I think what I'm most excited to do is explore long form content creation and see what that looks like for me. Because even with my TikTok content creation, it has changed so much over the last year. So to be honest, I don't know what I'm going to bring to this page, and that's kind of the most exciting thing for me. This is a new project, is a new way for me to be creative, and I'm just excited to explore what that looks like. Question number 3, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I feel like I kind of answered this in the last question as far as being creative goes, but I'm also really excited to just connect with more of the bookish community. The bright spot of 2020 really was coming onto Book Talk and making so many new friends and connecting with people that have similar interests to mine and re-sparking my love of reading. And so I'm just excited to explore that more on a new platform and potentially connect with more people. Question number 4, why do I love reading? I love reading for so many different reasons. I love the escape of it, honestly. And I love, especially now that I've started connecting with other readers, how it can connect other people. When 2 people or more people read the same book and love it, it's so exciting to geek out and talk about it. And there's just a comfort in reading, and it has been something that has kind of always been there in my life as this little side hobby that I've done. But for a long time, like before this last year, I wasn't as avid of a reader as I used to be, and it's felt so wonderful coming back to this side of myself and rediscovering why I love reading so much. Question number 5, what book or series got you into reading? And this is a kind of like confusing question for me, because the beginning of my reading career is very muddled. Career, journey, life, love of reading, because it took me a very long time to learn how to read. And so a lot of my beginnings of reading were my dad reading to me when I was falling asleep. And one of the books that always stands out to me is The Tale of Despero by Katie Camillo, I believe. I'm gonna pop that on the screen and hope that I have the right author. Katie D. Camillo? Should have fact checked that before I said anything. And another big series that was quite large throughout my childhood was the Harry Potter series. I do not openly talk about it because of how harmful J.K. Rowling is. It's hard for me to talk about falling in love with reading without talking about how much the Harry Potter series was part of my childhood reading, but it isn't something that I talk about very often because J.K. Rowling is a TERF and we hate that here. So yeah, some other book series that I just loved a lot and kept me reading, The Tale of Emily Winsnap, what else? Percy Jackson, Series of Unfortunate Events, even though I never got past book 3. My brother and I started reading it together. And yeah, those were kind of like the big books for me growing up. I have forgotten a lot of the books that I read when I was younger. Every once in a while someone does a tag on Book Talk and it's like, books I read when I was a kid. And I was like, oh my god, yes, I loved those books. But those are kind of like the big ones that stand out to me as big impressions in my young life of reading. Question number 6, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? And I don't have any questions for anybody specifically because I still feel so new to booktube in general. It is not an area of YouTube that I have avidly explored, and so I'm slowly but surely finding booktube creators, but it's still a new world for me. So for any booktube creators that come across this video, I would just love to know what advice you would give to yourself when you were starting out your booktube channel, because I feel like that's the biggest question on my mind. And yeah, that's the question. Question number 7, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Honestly, the consistency of creating content and creating engaging content, that is the biggest challenge that I see myself facing. I am in grad school getting a master's degree, so I am conscious of the fact that I am on summer break right now, but once the semester hits, I may not be uploading weekly. It might be twice a month or once a month, but I would like to set myself a goal to at least put up one video a month on this channel. I would like it to be more, but you know, once school rolls around, who knows if I'll be able to commit to that, between also creating content for TikTok as well as Instagram. So yeah, I'm hopeful because I'm very excited about this and I want to prioritize this, but who knows? I'm sure there are other things in the back of my head, like figuring out how to get the best possible lighting. But that has always been my struggle, so we'll see. And I guess another challenge that I am apprehensive about is feeling like the books that I'm talking about aren't repetitive or are exciting and new, either because people haven't heard of them or because they're new releases, because I was in a 10-year long reading slump. So over the last year, not only have I been trying to read new books, I've also been trying to catch up on a TBR that I had been compiling over the last 10 years. And it's been challenging on Book Talk because sometimes I feel like I am talking about books that are 5, 6, 7 years old, but they're still new to me because I haven't read them before. So I guess I just want to tell myself that it's okay to talk about the books that I'm reading, even if they're a little bit older or people have talked about them before because they're overhyped, because they're still new to me. Question number 8, when did you start reading? So I started reading when I was really young. My brother and I used to share a room and my dad used to read to us every night, and my parents are both really avid readers, so they were constantly getting us to read books. And I really started reading independently in 1st grade. That is kind of when my reading kicked in and I finally learned how to read. Like I said earlier in the video, it took me a very long time to learn how to read, and once I did and I understood how to read words on a page and make it stick in my brain, you couldn't get a book out of my hands. And I was a very avid reader growing up, all through middle school, and then once I got to high school, I really started to fall out of it. There were, like, the first 2 years of high school, I was still a pretty avid reader, but by the time I was a senior and going to college, it really just fell by the wayside. And over the last couple of years, I maybe read 1 or 2 books a year. I call it my 10-year slump, but it's not that I wasn't reading at all. It's just that I was reading, some years I wouldn't read any books, and some years I would read 3 books. I just wasn't reading as avidly as I was when I was younger. And I certainly was not reading the books that were super popular. So yeah, and then Miss Rona came around, and now you cannot catch me not reading a book. I am constantly reading. I have all but stopped watching Netflix. I'm now feeling like I'm behind on new shows because I am catching up on all these books that I have missed over the last 10 years. So that's kind of like my reading journey, if you will. Question number 9, where do you read? So I read wherever I feel comfortable. Right now, because I'm at my parents' house, I read in my room. I'll read on the couches in the living room. Now that it's summertime, I do like reading outside. But in general, I will read wherever. I listen to audiobooks in the car when I'm commuting to work, or on the subway, and things like that. So you could catch me reading pretty much anywhere. We made it to the end. Question 10. What kind of books do you like to read? And my books that steal my heart are fantasy. I love all types of fantasy. Recently, I have really been getting into adult fantasy, specifically adult high fantasy. Those really do capture my whole heart, but I love all of the fantasy subgenres: urban fantasy, low fantasy, magical realism, historical fantasy, romance fantasy. Like, I really do love anything that has a fantasy element to it. You can catch me reading. I do delve into contemporaries every once in a while if it seems like something that I will be into. I have also really gotten into romance over the last year. I am loving the romance genre and all of the different niches and subgenres inside of the romance genre. And I pretty much read across the board: middle grade, YA, adult. Recently, I've been drifting towards more adult books, but that doesn't mean that I'm not reading other marketing genres. So I read a little bit of everything. I guess that's one more thing that I can bring to this channel. It's that I don't exclusively read fantasy. I don't exclusively read contemporary. I try to read a little bit of everything, even nonfiction. And I do enjoy it all. But the thing that will always steal my heart is fantasy. Oh my gosh, we made it to the end of this video. I can see the timestamp is at 22 minutes, so that's gonna be nice to edit. It won't be too long of a video, and I am so excited to keep making booktube content. I really can't wait. And I figured I would wrap this video up with what I'm currently reading in case that's interesting to people. So they're right behind me. So I am currently reading a couple books. I am about to start Hang the Moon by Alexandria Bellafleur. I also started Detransition Baby by Tori Peters. I'm in the middle of the Devabad series by S.A. Chakraborty. I am about to head into the third book. I'm giving myself a little bit of a break because the second book was a lot, and I just need to breathe before I head into the third book in that trilogy. And that's everything I'm currently reading. And that is the end of this video. I can't wait to take you on this little booktube journey. I'm so excited. And if you would like to follow me on any other social platforms to see what I'm up to, you can follow me on my Instagram and my TikTok. It is the same handle, Deirdre Rose Morgan. And if you want, you could also follow my podcast. I'm one of the co-hosts of Books on the Brain. We are on all podcast platforms. And if you want to stick around and see what kind of content I create here on BookTube, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I'm excited to see how long it takes me to stop making content. No, I'm just kidding. I am genuinely excited to create content on here, and I hope you'll stick around for the journey. All right, y'all, I will catch you in my next video. I am not gonna promise a single day to upload because I just need to figure out my schedule first. Like I said, I'm in the middle of moving. Don't know why I decided to revamp this channel while I'm in the middle of moving, but we're gonna make it work. And if you want to stay up to date, you can follow me on my Instagram. That's where I'll be making every announcement of when posts are live. So that is everything. I'm gonna stop rambling. Hopefully I looked at the camera most of the time on this video. I really hope so. And that is that for me. I hope to chat to you all soon. Have a great day. Bye.